Hey y'all, listen, it's Tuesday. Okay, it's Trending Topic Tuesday. I'm glad to see y'all in the building. It's nice to see y'all. Happy to see y'all. Y'all know the routine. Hit the like button. If you coming through riding the Diva train, don't be trying to ride for free. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. Listen, tonight's title is called Wow. It's called Wow. Wow. We got a Wendy Williams update. I never thought that Wendy Williams was her old self 100%. I never thought that. But I also don't feel like she needs to be in this extreme guardianship. And I also feel that if her family wants to, be her caregiver, they should be able to be the caregiver. Well, they had new medical evaluations done. They did all kind of brain imaging, all type of testing, and they still came back with the same diagnosis for Wendy: FTD, frontotemporal dementia and aphasia. It's sad. It's sad. There's nothing more I can say. So as of this moment, she has to remain in the guardianship. So and maybe the fight now needs to be with Wendy and her lawyers is that she doesn't have to be in the guardianship underneath Sabrina. So we're going to talk about it, okay? And all I can say again is, wow. Then we're going to move on. There's this saying talking about, am I my brother's keeper? Well, according to a town in New Jersey, if you want to have your kids in the street wilding out and they get caught by the police, not only is the kid going to get in trouble, but now they have a new ordinance that says the parents are going to be in trouble. And they said sometimes, depending upon what the child did and what the offense is, maybe the parents have to spend 3 months in jail. I bet you think twice before you let your kid roam the street outside and you don't know where they're going and what they're doing. I bet you think twice. Parents going to get arrested. Picture that. And then listen, y'all know I'm older and plan to live for a long time. But I have to ask the question. This third story, an elderly driver, 84, I think he was speeding, crashed into a food truck. Now he's gone, and so is 2 other people. So the question is, at a certain age, should you have to be retested to see if you're going to be allowed to keep your driver's license? Listen, I can't parallel park to save my life, even with the backup camera and all. I don't do all the crazy parking. I pull into parks that are open and free. And God knows I wouldn't want them to take my license. But I do think at some point, and I don't know the age, that's why we're here. We all got to talk about it. But I do think at some point, some people need to be reevaluated to see if they can still be on the road. Who knows if maybe he had a medical condition? They don't know yet. But 84 speeding, hit the food truck, hit a person. Now 3 people going, including the driver. It's sad. So could we prevent it? Should drivers after a certain age have to be reevaluated to see if they're still competent enough to drive? And if we are going to start snatching people's driver's license, then we need to set up an infrastructure for the older community so that they're still able to get around and get their groceries and be independent without depending on the Uber and the Lyft. Because that can get very pricey. But we're going to have to talk about it. I see you, Amy. And I'm not in disagreement. She said, yeah, we should definitely do a check when drivers are older. But the question has to be is, what age? What age are we going to say you got to be retested? And do they just do the driving part, or will you have to do the written in the driver part? Oh my God, in my opinion, it says 75. Well, we do need an age, y'all. We need an age. So we're going to talk about it. So y'all know what I need in the chat, right? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. Now, come on, Miss Amy. Now, you giving me 5 years. You said 60? Don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all got to up that age now. And there's a lot of people that they're still working 60, 65. Don't do that. I appreciate the choo-choo. Listen, it's Tuesday. We got stuff to talk about. The title is called Wow. Wendy Williams is stuck in her guardianship. New Jersey parents in one town, if the kids is acting a straight fool in the streets, the cops said, we're going to lock you up too. And then we got the elderly driver. I know you. I love you. Yes. But honey, you ain't giving me much time if you said 60. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Katrina. All right, y'all.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Panna. Hey, Chad. Choo, choo, choo.
Choo. Let's go ahead and get right into this story. You know what? The first one, I might as well go ahead and do this elderly driver. Let me see if I could share screen. All right. This is it. It's sad. Oh, I don't know why my screen acting up. All right, let's see. Let's play.
Are off. We're learning more about the 3 people killed in a crash in Queens.
It happened this morning at 19th Avenue and 42nd Street in Astoria. We're now hearing from a man who narrowly escaped tragedy and the brother of a victim. Alan Devlin joins us live from the scene with how the neighborhood is reacting. Alan?
Yeah, good afternoon, Dick and Alec. This entire block here in Astoria is basically warehouses, industrial plants where they fix cars. Everybody in this community is coming together following this morning's crash. I want to step out of the way here and show you behind me. Right now, all that's left is one of the vehicles that was involved, the Volvo there, but you can still see on the right side of the road the remnants of the food truck and some pieces of the Corolla that was involved in this crash as well. Right now, a tow truck pulls up to get that Volvo out of here. The latest saga in what's been an emotional day. Tears flowing in Astoria Tuesday steps from a gruesome crash that claimed the lives of 3.
He was all the time happy. He made you happy. He will make happy any person.
Abelardo Venancio speaks on his older brother Joaquin, who was standing, ordering from this food truck across the street from the tire shop where he worked when his life came to an end.
Hard, it's hard. Nobody deserves this type of end, you know?
Surveillance video shows the moment around 8:30 Tuesday morning when the Toyota Corolla speeds down 42nd Street and slams into Joaquin and one of his customers from the tire shop. We paused the video before impact, but the remnants of the crash hours later speak to its violent nature.
I still have my life, and I'm just grateful that something moved me out of the way.
Giancarlo is the owner of the food truck and says it was the warnings ahead of the crash that made him instinctively step away, likely saving his life.
Heard the scream, I felt it in my back, and I just stepped back one step. And I literally, he must have grazed my leg. That's how much I missed it by.
Police say in all, 2 male pedestrians were killed. Joaquin and one of his customers, the 84-year-old driver of the Toyota Corolla, also died in the crash.
I heard the really loud crash, and then I heard just somebody screaming.
Jerry Figueroa had just gotten to work when he ran towards the crash to help seconds after it happened.
I didn't know what to think. It was my first time seeing a dead person right in front of me. There was nothing to think. It was just just a bunch of emotion.
We're not good. We are not good.
The victim's brother says Joaquin was a 42-year-old father of two and a passionate manager gone too soon. The cause of the crash has not yet been determined, and the identity of the other two victims remains unknown.
Maybe this time was my brother. This time could be anybody.
And like I said here, the Volvo is the final remaining piece of this crash out here. And I do believe, I'm looking down the street here, a tow truck is pulling up to remove the Volvo and eventually what will be opening up 42nd Street. But even as the street opens up, this family's still looking for closure, dealing with exactly what caused this crash, what sent that Corolla speeding down the road here. Police are still investigating. Once we have an update on the investigation, we'll be sure to let you know. Right now, we are live in Astoria, Queens. Alan Devlin, CBS News, New York.
Oh, so tragic. Alan, thank you.
So sad. Let me see. My computer, of course, is being slow. Everybody just stay on mute till I come to you. Let me see if I can add more from the article, if I can. So elderly New York City motorist kills two himself after speeding through intersection straight into food truck. It happened so fast. Two men getting their morning coffee from a city food truck were killed Tuesday when an 84-year-old driver plowed into them, leaving the son of one victim to heartbreakingly weep. It should have been me. The force of the tragic caught on video crash in Astoria, Queens, also killed the car's driver. It was so horrific that it severed one of the victim's feet. The grisly scene near the intersection of 42nd Street and 19th Avenue quickly drew distraught family members of the slain pedestrians, who identified by Ken as a marathon runner and a father of 8 with 14 grandkids. That's sad. That's his son crying. Why wasn't I here this morning? Cried the grief-stricken son of one of the victims, who rushed past the NYPD's yellow tape and held his head in his hands as his uncle and family members pulled him away. It should have been me. It should have been me. It shouldn't have been my dad. Family members at the crash scene identified the victims as victims at an avid marathon runner, Jaquan, I don't want to mess up his last name, 41, and Santiago, 70, a father of 8 with 14 children, with 2 more on the way. The devastating crash unfolded when the senior motorist whizzed his light-colored 2010 Toyota Corolla north on 42nd Street through the intersection with 19th Avenue, startling surveillance footage shows. The car careened straight into a food truck as 2 men ordered from it, police said in video shows. And the initial impact, the out-of-control driver also spun around and collided with a Volvo sedan driven by a 42-year-old man, cop says. The Volvo driver was unhurt. That's the picture of one of the victims that lost his life. All of a sudden, I heard a loud screeching from tires and like a really loud engine roar. Sounded like it was like right on top of me. Shaken food truck worker John Caruso told the Post. Someone screamed really loud and I just stepped back, like right up to the sidewalk, he said, adding he was saved by a millimeter or a centimeter as he stood next to one of the fatal victims and felt the wind hit my leg. I was parked right off the sidewalk, and as soon as I heard that scream and the screeching, I stepped back, and the vehicle coming at about 60 miles per hour mowed 2 of my customers that were with me, he said. They just laid out lifeless, he said, of the tragic victims. It happened so fast, it was almost like God removed me from the scene. Jaquan, 41, was identified by his brother and one of as one of the victims. The family owns Astoria Donut Discount Tires directly across from the food truck. Abel remembered his brother as the happiest person ever, a marathon runner who generously buy coffee and treats for anyone. Jaquan was buying Java at the food truck when the senior's wayward car plowed into him, sending his body through his windshield, Abel said. I reached the car. I tried to pull him out, he said, emotionally adding, I couldn't. It was hard. It's hard. It's hard. Abel questioned why the elderly driver's family could have done to keep him from getting behind the wheel. To drive like that in this area when it's a 25-mile-per-hour zone, you have to be out of your mind, he said. The other victim had brought his large bride from El Salvador and made a career in landscaping. His son, Yanni, said. Yanni began to cry as he thought about how his mother would react to his father's death. He was here just fixing his landscaping truck. He came out to buy coffee, Yanni said. He was the best dad. The younger food truck patron was pronounced dead at the scene, cops said. The older customer was, as well as the elderly driver, was taken to Elmhurst Hospital Center where they succumbed to their injuries, cops said. The two fatal victims were not immediately officially identified by police, pending family notification. Francisco Nito, owner of a nearby doggy daycare, said he saw one of the victims for his work at a tire shop near the scene. Very nice guy, Nito said. He helped us a lot with the cars here, with the tires. He just replaced all four of my tires of my car the other day, he said. It's sad. This is a busy street for this area. Extremely busy, he added. You have the tire shop, the mechanic, the motorcycle place. So it gets busy, but never anything like this. So sad. Savannah, your thoughts?
That is a tragic story, Diva, not only because of the age of the elderly driver, but also because so many people, innocent people, were impacted in the loss of life. I'm surprised that this was in New York. I can understand if it was Florida, because I know Florida has a severe problem with elderly drivers. But to be in New York, I mean, you could barely speed through these streets. So I'm surprised at that rate of speed that she was able to use, or the elderly driver was able to maneuver and such. And I do question whether the driver was having a medical emergency at the time. Is that why they accelerated?
It's possible.
We all know that yeah, because I personally, I'm scared of teen drivers and elderly drivers. I'm always very, very cautious when it comes to them, because those two group demographics, to them, it's about, I don't think that they have good situational awareness. And these are just my opinions. Teenagers are distracted by everything else but the cars around them, whether it's the cell phone, the radio, or passengers in the car. And then elderly people, they can be impaired by like poor vision, or just their whole cognizance in general. So they do scare me. But I know with my mom, she was afraid to give up her independence. And it was a fight with her to give up her license. I'm within my opinion, I think between the ages of 73 and 77, I really do think that elderly drivers do need to be tested every 6 months. I really, really do believe that they should be tested again, and not just road tests, vision, medical. I think I need it all, because I've seen plenty of horror stories, and I've dealt with some on my own with my own mom, of elderly drivers behind the wheel and not being aware of their surroundings. So, tragic story, unfortunate loss of life. I hope that some things change, but I don't believe that the DOT will change anything in the laws when it comes to senior drivers.
Thank you. Wayne, your thoughts?
Well, really, I want to give my condolences to these people, the driver, the other man that passed, and, all the people that were injured. I think, it has to be some age limits.
Mm.
You know, how would you like it? You had a pilot, 80-something years old, flying a plane, and you see him, he can fly the plane, but he got to get there on his walker.
Mm.
I think at a certain age, whether it's 70 or whatever age they choose, I think every year you need to be able to perform, do something. Okay. Not at the expense of the, you know, of the senior.
Mm-hmm.
But at a certain age, your body's not regenerating, going backward. You ain't getting younger. So at a certain age, as they know, they just need to come report, and they really need to implement this and enforce it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not that you know somebody that all they just pass you through. No, but seriously, certain things you could just visibly see if somebody has the issue. You know, cognitively, you can, you know, some of these people, by talking to them, you can tell them they may have issues. And this would really cut down on a lot of them getting through. You know, they're all not going to have, you know, the ones that can drive,
Mm-hmm.
they'll go down there. You know, the ones that's 70, 75 years old, still going to work, driving every day, they're going to go down there, they're going to ace it. It's not going to be a problem. But the ones that have issues, this is when you can catch them. So they don't go into another year. In Florida, our licenses are good for 10 years.
Mm.
Okay, so if somebody's 70 years old and they got until 80 to drive without being tested, don't you think there's going to be some decline there? And yes, driver's license is like, I think the main thing the seniors don't want to give up is their independence. And so even if they think that they can do a little something, I have a friend that's declared legally blind, and he's trying to convince me he can still drive a little bit because he can see, you know, figure. Okay, so he be on the street. You see what I'm saying? People going to ignore their possible handicaps or deficiencies. They'll ignore them because they still want that independence, and they're going to press on. But a lot of those, if they're testing yearly or going through yearly, they'll catch a lot of that. The ones that can drive, they'll breeze through the test. The ones that have issues, they're going to fail. That's it.
Thank you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, condolences to the family because that's got to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't even behind the wheel of a car and you get hit. You know, that's got to be amazingly hard. And as far as the age limit, yes, I do think it needs to be 75 because I feel like around that time, the elderly.
Oh, you breaking up? Is it just me? Yeah, opinion was breaking up, right?
Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Okay. I think they start to mentally break down. And you see them scrape up their cars. They don't drive like they should. Sometimes they going real slow. They going real fast. It's a lot. Then they have eye problems. They get the glaucoma and all that. And so, yes, I think it needs to be an age limit. I don't think it has to be every year unless it's some kind of decline that you're seeing. I think the doctors also need to be involved as well. Like you need to bring in a doctor's thing to tell you when you get your license renewed that you still in healthy conditions, you could drive, you mentally competent. Like, I just feel like it should be something in place. But let's be clear. I'm scared to get on the road with any of these drivers now. Okay, well they old or young. Okay, because all these people look like they got their license from Sears and Company, and I have to be patient for everybody else that's on the road because there's some crazy fools out here, and they don't care about your life and they don't care about theirs.
Thank you, in my opinion. Amy Jane, your thoughts? Amy J, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was on mute. I said, in those situations, I always want to say that there are some preventative measures, but in some cases, it's just really, a happenstance. The wrong situation at the wrong time and the wrong place. And I don't want to say it's like, you want to punish everybody that's over 75 or those who are older and starting to lose certain skill bases to drive. But I don't really have much to say because I just it's such a complicated situation. Now, if it was like a rise in like elderly people and it's becoming more prominent, I feel like I would be like, yeah, we need to do something. But in this situation, it just seems unfortunate these people died in the way they did.
It is very unfortunate and sad, and that some of their family members had to like witness it and see it in real time for themselves. It is sad. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yes, Diva. The age limit thing, I understand. But you have some of these older people that are well trained and well rounded than some of these young drivers. So we playing like what, tit for tat, because we got young drivers out here doing the same thing the old drivers doing. Things happen. I don't know if this person had like a seizure or diabetic coma, or something could have just happened. Maybe his feet stepped on the gas or something. You know what I mean? But I think it should be age requirements on a lot of things. But and I know what Wayne was saying, they feel like they're taking their independence away, because they can't do something. And that's a hard thing on a person. But when you get to the point where you're sick and known to have seizures and stuff like that, yes, I think they should take your driver's license away or suspend your license or do something. Maybe they should put a device in an older person's car to let blow in or do something to make sure that they are incapable of driving. You know what I mean? Or capable of driving. But condolences to the families, especially seeing something like that. I know it's horrific. Um, I just pray that their heart is lightened, and I just hope they get some peace. That's all I got.
I hope so too. So I'm going to go ahead and roll into the next story. And this is a story from New Jersey where they have a law in this one town. Your kids act a fool, then you be careful because we may end up charging you too. Let me go ahead. Let me see where I have my video for this one.
For kid chaos, a new ordinance in a South Jersey town says parents and legal guardians must answer for their child's public disturbances should they fail to stop them from committing certain offenses and mayhem. The consequences are hefty. It is Thursday night. I'm Christy Aletto. Gray and Shari have the night off. And the big story on Action News is parents could now face fines or even jail time if they fail to stop their children from breaking the law in one South Jersey town. It comes in recent response to recent incidents where large groups of unruly teens cause chaos at public events. Action News reporter Leland Pinder is live in Gloucester Township with the details. Leland.
Christy, Gloucester Township Day this year was canceled because of what unfolded last year. Officials now introducing this new level of accountability, hoping to crack down on some of that bad behavior. Under a new ordinance in Gloucester Township, parents and guardians of minors involved in public disturbances could face fines or even jail time.
These are your children. Had you governed them a certain way, this ordinance wouldn't be necessary.
The new law is in response to incidents of youth misbehavior, including at last year's Gloucester Township Day, where fights broke out and hundreds of teens caused chaos at Veterans Park and a nearby shopping center.
As a parent, I think it's absolutely necessary.
While some support the move, others oppose it, saying the law could cause hardship for some families.
That may put the parent in a situation to either lose their job or lose finances. Let it go through the course the way it usually does.
In a statement to Action News, Gloucester Township Police said each incident is still and always will be handled on a case-by-case basis, taking into account the specific situation and the totality of circumstances. Similar chaos has erupted at events statewide in towns like Seaside Heights and Mays Landing this year. In June, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy signed the public brawl law into state code. It allows authorities to charge anyone who starts a brawl. People hope new measures locally and statewide will make a difference.
I have 4 kids, and my youngest, she can't even experience like that fun stuff that we have in town because of, other kids acting out.
And this new ordinance here in Gloucester Township lists 28 offenses ranging from felonies to minor infractions like loitering or breaking curfew. Now, if a child is found guilty in juvenile court repeatedly, well, that's when a parent or guardian could face 90 days in jail. Live here in Gloucester Township, Leland Pinder for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Christy.
Yeah, parents could pay the price. Leland, thank you.
Woo-wee. What do we think about parents being able to pay the price, Savannah? Your thoughts? Is this town got it right?
I agree. I completely agree. Who's the mayor? Because they definitely need to run for governor or something. I completely agree that children, especially when they're out in the neighborhood or in society in general, they are a reflection of their parents and their home bringing, their upbringing. And these kids have been so unruly, and I have seen things that I was just wondering, who raised you at times, because they have no respect for authority. They live this social media likes mentality of, that's what makes them popular and cool, and they have no regards for humanity. So these children are out of control lately, and I don't care if it's a minority neighborhood, a Caucasian neighborhood. I've seen it all. I do believe that this is a great idea, and I think it needs to be implemented in other cities, large cities, as well. Because you got to think, if a child vandalizes someone's property, parents should be responsible. And I think as parents, we're busy as it is. I got that, and we need to stop being friends with our kids and actually start parenting. So that right there is where I have an issue with this new up and coming generation. They strive to be their kids' friends and partner in TikToks and all these things instead of actually parenting. So I think this town got it right. And when parents start having to pay fines or do jail time, then do better at home and send your kids out to society with good morals and good values, and they should act right. I know when I was out there, I wouldn't do half the stuff that these kids would do. My mom, my neighbors, my grandma, aunties, the church folks, they will grab me up on my ponytail and drag me right back home. I think it's time to go back to that way of upbringing these children.
Thank you, Savannah. I appreciate you. Wayne, your thoughts?
I was kind of leaning at first between, the kids, but I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that will work, because it's going to put a hardship on the parents. You could be almost the most perfect parent and still have problems with your children. I know parents are responsible, but still, this regular life, you can still have problems with your children.
That's facts.
What they need to do is have a system where they correct these children when they catch them. Okay? Don't send them back home and give them to the parents. They need to be taught a lesson. If they need some hard labor, if they need to be in some place where you're going to do this, mama's not there, daddy's not there, you're going to do it. Make it so hard for them. As they train them. And then maybe that will kind of put them on the track. But doing it to the parents. What the parent have other children they don't have problems out of? Like the gentleman said in the story, he said, you know, do like they've been doing, let it go through the courts. That's it.
I appreciate you. Everybody's making some very good points, because what if you just end up with a wild child? And remember that family, the story I did the other day, they kept calling the cops asking for help. So it's not like they wasn't trying. This is a hard situation. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I'm for it. And I need to know where I can go to get this down here in Alabama. I think the part that everybody's not listening to, they didn't say they was going to put the parents in jail or fine them the first time. They said after repeated time. So they're giving you a chance to get your kid under control. It's not the state job to raise your kid. It's your job. And I don't know nobody who hasn't had a time with one of their kids. But if you train them up the right way, they ain't gonna stray. Not too far, especially if you got the right, mindset or whatever. Mine grown, and they know not that daggone fool. So I don't know. I wish we could go back to the old school way. It's a lot of kids that's raising kids, and I think that's where the ball is slipping. It's a lot of young people having children before they even grown to know how to raise a kid. The world's changing. That's all.
Ooh, Amy J, your thoughts?
Hey, so I to put some psychology and sociology in the situation. I don't know what's going on in that town where there's a lot of boys that are aimlessly having time to act out these acts of like frustration and aggression. But I do know where I'm at now, we have a heavy, strong level of gentrification. And what happens is in these spaces where it's very, very aggressive gentrification, there is this thing where they are excluding people from parts of the new area that tells them that they don't belong there because of the prices and all these new people here they have to accommodate to. And then you have parents that are trying to put together what they have left to take care of their families, and they really are not home for the teenagers. So what happens is if the teenagers is not in some type of program to keep them focused or busy, and it tends to be large groups of boys because a lot of programs are not geared towards young males development. Like you might have cheerleading, you might even have like I had my daughter in some run group, but what they're seeing in my city is now that they have called in the what is it, the government through Trump, but you got to do the FBI, the CIA, and it to me it's just heavy levels of policing of issue you all knew was going to come. These boys are very much a part of how we build our society, and if you exclude them from experiences or these people who are acting out, you have to wonder what's going on in the society where we have all this money and all these resources, but some people are being left out and then called criminals because they start to make a way or make a way to integrate with each other the best way they know how. So for me, when I hear stuff like that, I always go back to what's going on in that area. Why are these boys deciding to completely disengage and create their own spaces where they're doing this reckless stuff? And why is it now the parents' fault when they were making these plans? They were making all these city plans and creating all these great business opportunities, and somehow the bottom of the group is slowly falling between the cracks, and you're now blaming them for it. So I have a hard time saying like, yeah, they deserve it and blah blah blah. I don't like to see people doing reckless stuff. No one does. But if you see and if you sit and you talk with these people, you will see how many things have been taken from them or not given to them or treated as if they don't deserve it because of who they are, what they come from when you're in spaces like gentrification. So I don't know. I'm always on the fence of it. I always want to know more.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. I think the government need to make a decision because, first of all, you want to raise our children and tell the parents, you can't do this, you can't discipline this way, you can't discipline that way, and the kids have more authority than the parent. And now you want to put the parent in jail because you're not allowing the parent to raise the kids. Y'all need to make a decision and stick with it. And I'm not saying that the government should be raising your children, but I'm just saying the government is staying in people's homes telling them how to raise their children. Let parents be parents. Let them be parents. And yes, the kids going out the same way. If I go out and buy my child a pow pow, and my child go in there and do something, unalive somebody at a school, yes, I think I should be held responsible because I was the one that gave him that pow pow. But then again, that child know what's right from wrong. A baby know what's right from wrong. You tell a baby or a toddler, don't touch that iron, and they don't listen. You tell them again, don't touch the iron. What they do? They touch the iron. And what happened? They get burned. Therefore, they know again, they don't want to go nowhere near that iron. So I think they should make parents should be parents. Government stay up out there, stay out people's houses. And I'm not saying going out there beating your kids or doing anything like that. But you got to put down strict rules for your children. And you got to put down some mandatory rules, some you just got to get strict with them sometimes. And I know sometimes when parents are strict with kids, the kids go another way because of the discipline their parents do for them. So it's a hit or miss. And like I said, kids know what's right and what's wrong. If they want to go down that path, that's the path that they want to go on. And I don't blame the parents for that. Because you can be the best parent out there and your child still can go astray. So it's a catch-22. It really is. But like I said, if they do something like, what I just said, the pow and all that, I think the parent should be held responsible, even though that child knows better. But I was the person that bought the pow for them. So I think they should be liable for that part. But the other stuff like driving and out there doing things, yeah. And maybe that way the kids will straighten up. But then if you put the parents in jail or come and pick them up, who's gonna raise the rest of them? Who's gonna take care of the home? Who's gonna take care of the bills? Who's gonna cook? Who's gonna do this? It's a lot that goes into this, and it's sad. It's totally sad that we coming to this right now. It doesn't make any sense. But we'll see how it goes, Diva. That's all I got.
Mel, your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. I was listening while I was washing the dishes to your show. I said, let me call in for this topic. I think it's complicated. That's why I called in. I think it's a complicated topic for me because I'm thinking about, I think as some of the callers were saying about certain communities, and I want to think about Flint, Michigan, about the water issues they had there all the years before. Now they discovered that, if in certain communities in America, if our water is not clean and then also in certain communities, we have a high rate of attention, people having these sort of attention issues and other situations. And we still haven't gotten to the foundation of how certain communities have all these difficulties. And now we want to criminalize the young people in the community. I don't think that's the answer. I really don't. I think that for me, there's certain communities in this country that are not idle. And in our communities, we don't, all the programs, as far as the school programs for the kids have seemed to be have gone. So they go there to do what they want, and they don't really have the resources after it to be in sports and things like that. So I think that for me, I would love to research this community and know if they do have sporting programs or theater and other stuff, or do the kids just go to school from 8 to 3 or whatever it is, and then they go home, they have nothing else to do. I want to know, does that community have that, and was those programs cut? Because that's also what I think too. When you're young, because I have nephews and stuff like that, I have no kids, but I know when I was young, I need to be stimulated all the time. I need to be up early in the morning. I need to be in sports, and I need to be doing a lot more things. And if you have a lot of time on your hands, and you go out there and you just get yourself into trouble, you really do. So we have to really research more about how to invest in the children to get them more productive in different programs instead of cutting all these programs. And then when you cut the programs, they had nothing else to do. They sit around there, and then next thing you know, they're in trouble. Also, I want to say we can't forget about the young people who has really mental disabilities. I'm talking about the people who simply have maybe autism or something else. So those people, those children have always been labeled, Diva, as difficult or has been kicked out of schools and all type of problems. And the parents in those situations are doing the very best they can. So there's a lot going on there. And in our community, we seem to, we just seem to get criminalized instead of being treated for our medical conditions, and the programs are cut. So there's a lot going on. That's what I see. And also there was some civil rights groups, not about this town, but in other towns, I think in Texas or wherever place, when they tried to say, hey, if your kids are bad, we want to arrest them and arrest you. And then civil rights groups came up and said, hey, but what about the kids with autism and other stuff like that? So there are people who have been labeled as difficult who had medical conditions, but they sometimes didn't care about that. They just thought they should be medicated. That's the next step. Like, oh, well, if they too rowdy, you need to medicate them. If you don't medicate them enough, they disturbing the school class, and so there's a consequence to that. So it's a whole deep thing to it, Diva. I just think they need more programs and more, activities and stuff like that to focus their energy, especially in the summertime, stuff like that, because they have nothing else to do.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard conversation, right? It's a loaded conversation. Felicia, I don't know if you are up to speed with the story and want to make a comment.
Hey everybody, yeah, I'm up to speed on the story, and I've been listening to the panel. It's interesting, the commentary. Good evening, everybody. So I'm going to share where I was. Let me share where I was.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my scholars, he has an opportunity. He's getting ready to go out to Texas, and he had a summer internship, and they invited him out to Texas to meet with the team that he worked with. His parents aren't here on the East Coast, but what he does have is that village that many of us used to know or familiar with, the people who step in the stead when your parents can't be there, to help prepare you for the next level in life. So, David, you made a statement about a wild child. Let's talk about how a wild child comes to be. A wild child is usually the product of two wild parents.
Oh my God.
Usually one of them is absent. And the other one is taking substances, doping up, sleeping around, wilding out themselves. Parents should be held accountable for their children, whatever the DNA has brought forward. And those in that village, like myself, I'm not talking about some program across the country, I'm talking about right in your own neighborhood where you live, your community, you should be ensuring that there are programs for these young people, as Mel talked about. There used to be a whole lot of programs and organizations. They're not there anymore. And I am been frustrated for well over 3 decades with how particularly males are demonized for being males. They need structure, they need love, they need guidance, they need people to invest and pour in them the same. And so do our young girls. And that's what's missing. And so we have quite a few parents up on this panel, and we're talking about, well, I need to be disciplining and bossing them up and hitting them in the head because that's how I want to parent. Well, there's all kinds of ways to parent. There's all kinds of ways to do things. So reach out to other people in your community. Look at a family or parent values that you would like to bring into your own home and bring with your own kids. Ask them where their kids go. Ask them what their children are doing. These streets will eat your child alive. They will take everything, and particularly their futures. I'm handing my children over to the government to do what? To incarcerate them? To lock them up forever? Put them up underneath the jail? I'm going to keep investing. I'm going to keep praying. I'm going to keep working hard. There's something called therapy. Yes, therapy. There's something called after-school programs, summer programs. Find out what your children are doing. Stop doing substances. Stop drinking. Stop being out here wilding out.
Mm.
And know the person's history that you want to have children with. And make a commitment to doing your best so that you don't raise a wild child and you don't have the government come in and get your children and have you and everybody out there in the field, as Katrina said the other night, picking blueberries and strawberries, because that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. And if I have failed my children, if I have failed to put them first, if I have failed to love and protect and raise them, then yes, lock me up, because I didn't do my job. This whole woe is me thing is really getting to me. Woe is me. We don't have enough money. We don't have money for the bacon. We don't have money for the eggs. We don't have money for overschool. We don't have money for childcare. Well, there's something called not having children. Make some choices. They're hard choices, but make them. I'm just out there. That he's not my child, but he is my child. And I'm standing in the stead because his parents are on the West Coast. They're not on the East Coast. And I'm honored to do so, because his success becomes our success. So I encourage folks to look in a different direction, because the government is not the answer. I'm done.
In my opinion, you want me to roll back to you?
Yeah, Diva. So I'm confused because I was listening to the story. And in the story, you said they had to cancel a event because they was loitering and missing curfew. That's not something that a parent shouldn't be able to handle. Your child should be in the house at a reasonable time. If you can't get your child in the house, then yes, you should be held responsible. I'm not understanding where everybody's talking about some behavior issues and disability. I ain't hear none of that in the story. I was hearing them saying we had to cancel an event because these kids is out in the street, they being rowdy, and they ain't going home. That's now the whole town is suffering because we have a problem.
Ooh, it's the story is loaded. The story is definitely loaded. I'm gonna roll into the Wendy Williams story. And we'll talk about Wendy Williams. You know, so this thing, the guardianship is just a nasty situation. And let me go to it. They're saying her new testing is completed. It is done. And again, they're saying that the former talk show host, who has been living under a legal guardianship that oversees both her finances and health since May 2022, was re-diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, FTD, and aphasia, sources tell People. So Wendy Williams' guardianship is being upheld after the completion of her medical exam. Legal documents obtained by People indicate the television personality medical evaluation, which included a significant number of tests, both medical and neuropsychological, and scans including brain imaging, has been completed, and doctors have determined an opinion about Williams' neurological condition and diagnosis. Though the condition is not listed in the paperwork, sources tell People that Wendy has been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, FTD, and aphasia. She was first diagnosed with FTD and aphasia in 2023. In the documents, an attorney for Williams' guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, requests the courts extend the guardianship for 3 months with an end date of November 5th. So, you know, that's the confusing part of this situation. So they're claiming that she was re-diagnosed with the same diagnosis. The guardianship was upheld, but then they're asking for it to be extended and for it to end November the 5th. Something about this whole situation is a hot, nasty, stinky, filthy mess. I'm not going to go through the rest of the article because it kind of repeats things that have happened in the past, like, you know, her trying to get out of the guardianship, how the NYPD came to the facility, took her to the hospital, and they said she was fine. This is messy on all levels. Savannah, your thoughts?
I recall seeing Wendy, I think on her birthday weekend, celebrating with family and friends, and she looked well to me. She was having a conversation. She was engaging. I'm so confused by these caregivers or this. My heart breaks for her. I really hope that she doesn't give up. I hope that Alex doesn't give up, that they keep fighting this guardianship. I don't know what else besides them exposing the crooked lawyer, the crooked judges, the Sabrina. I just really hope Wendy doesn't give up. It breaks my heart. This is so dirty. I think we have no idea of what really Wendy is going through and how she's being treated, how her money's being handled, how her medical care is being handled. But I did see that, you know, her being on her birthday weekend, she looked like she gained a little bit of weight, and she was engaging with her company. So I'll continue to pray for Wendy and hope that these evil people will get out of her life soon.
Yeah. Wayne, your thoughts? Wayne, are you there? Okay. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Something in the milk ain't clean. If we got the same diagnosis, then why do you need 3 months extended? And what's going to happen after November the 5th? These are the questions that should make everybody say, huh? Because you can't tell me she got the same condition, but somehow they're going to let her go. But then you need 3 months. What do you need 3 months for? See, this sounds like I done took too much of the money. I'm finna try to put it back, or I need to make sure I cook the books to say I spent this money on such and such a thing. I'm telling you, I really hate this situation. It's been funny since it started, and it's even funny now because it's just too much that's going on that's not being equipped. How is Sabrina contacting doctors undercover on the download, telling them that they need to say this, and she's still going to the same doctors? I don't understand that neither. It's just a lot that's making me worried for Wendy. And I pray that Alex stay strong and keep her foot on their neck, okay? Because I'm still saying free Wendy.
Yeah, something is amiss here. Katrina, your thoughts? Thank you, in my opinion.
Diva, I'm still at the point where a grown person can't make their own decisions. I can't do nothing unless you say I can do it. I'm still at that point where I got out here and bust my tail and made my money, but I can't spend it unless you tell me what I can spend and when I can spend it. I still can't get over there. I just can't. I really can't. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And yes, maybe her son used her card and all that type of stuff, but Winnie should have handled it with her son instead of going into the bank because look what it cost her. And then again, they probably were sitting around watching her. Who knows? Well, Fargo's always been shady, and I've been telling y'all that that's a little shady little bank. But I I'm just still at the point where a grown person can't do what they want to do. She in jail, but she just don't know it. You might be free when not behind bars, but basically your mind has got you in jail. These folks got you really in jail. You just got a little more privilege than the people in jail. Cause if somebody telling me I made all my money and you can tell me how to spend it, when to spend it, where to spend it, who I can give it to and not, and then I got to pay you to tell me what I can do with my own money. I ain't never seen nothing like this before in my life. This is ridiculous. I'm paying you for you to tell me I can't use my money. That is so ridiculous. I mean, that is just ridiculous. I don't understand this. And then you saying Wendy is broke. How she broke if she still paying y'all? Y'all still got her in this guardianship. If she ain't got no money, release her. Let her go. Let her do what she need to do for herself or her family members. But because she got money and y'all still using it. Ain't nobody no fool. Y'all gonna drain that woman dry. It's sad. Yes, we know Wendy has substance abuse and all that type of stuff. But if that's her money, that's what she want to do with her money. That's her money. She made it, not me. But I pray for you, Wendy, and I hope you get some resolution soon, child, because this been going on for a while. And I know she got to be frustrated. But we'll see how it goes. But that's all I got, Diva.
Thank you. Mel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I hope that listen, I hope that 2026 is better for Wendy. That's all I can say.
Yeah. In my opinion, did I come to you?
Yeah, you went to me, Diva.
Thank you. Amy J.
I'm just a curious person at heart, and I'm looking through these like frontotemporal dementia criterias, and pretty sure why they don't have anything in her documentation is because it would take a group of assessments done on across the board through neurologically, and also there's neurological cognitive tests, and then you have to do spinal fluid tests. So it would have to be a collective group of tests where they all sit down and make the determination. But I don't think they have gotten to that point. I think they're saying that they see it being the diagnosis, but they don't have the full paperwork or the full collaborative response to that diagnosis. That's all I can see, because it makes no sense to say they haven't had it in the paperwork, but she's been diagnosed, re-diagnosed. I think that's what the outcome they want, but we will never know. And it kind of does show something strange because they want to end the conservatorship in November. So to me, I think it's a lot of admission in this new statement. They're omitting things to prevent people to say, "Aha, we knew you were lying." So they're trying to still go along with this lie that she has this thing, but they're leaving out a whole lot of stuff. So hopefully one day we'll be back out taking care of her own finances or getting a team of people she trusts to do the right things by her.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you. Felicia, your thoughts?
But hey, thank you, Diva. You know, as I'm listening to this case with Wendy, and it just keeps going and going, and the lies and the misdirection, everything. In a very odd way, it reminds me of what's going on with Sean Combs, P. Diddy. Yeah. Where this whole justice piece is delayed, denied, it's discussed, it's played over, and people who have authority over them are giving us information that many of us just don't believe. So I'm wondering if this is the direction that they want to go through, and I'm talking about the people of this country, the government, when they're going to go after people who have wealth and resources. Is this how you then take what they've earned fairly? And if you think about it, Mr. Combs and Ms. Williams both earned their money. They worked and invested and earned their money. And the two of them, it's almost a parallel world, are going through these things with the legal system, with the courts, tying up their money, their freedom, their estrangement from their families, separating them from their children. And I'm wondering if the hope is that they break them spiritually, that they break them mentally, so they don't endure, they don't persevere, and they don't get to reconnect. I find it very troubling. Thank you.
Thank you. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, Stevie Wonder could have seen this coming. I said that the last time we talked about Wendy, and they said they want to reevaluate her. And I said the same thing. If she's getting reevaluated by the medical staff that they, her lawyers and them choose, of course it's going to be the same thing. I didn't expect anything different. I mean, when you're running the show, you're calling the shots, You think the doctor's going to say anything different? I think they all on the payroll. And I think maybe they're going to leave her with a little bit. And it's like 3 months, they could clean the rest of her out. That's what I'm thinking. You know, won't be no more money to grab. You know, Wendy Williams has no freedom where she is. Diddy has no freedom where he is. No evidence that he argued anybody or whatever. Certainly Wendy Williams, nothing like that, even though, you know, she may have talked about people. But you got this white woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, who raped children. They said that she did the same thing that Jeffrey Epstein did.
Wayne, great.
Did the same thing. And now she's at Club Med. No gates, no nothing, no restrictions. And it's not even a facility for somebody with those kind of charges. But she got a waiver. Texas A&M is right next door, and they have a program where they work together. You know, they train animals, you know, for veterans or whoever, you know, train dogs. And so they can just walk right over there. And Wendy Williams can't even walk out her building.
Oh, child.
And Diddy ain't art anybody like this woman has. Think about it. Think about it. I mean, just almost overnight. I give her another 3 weeks. I think she's going to be out altogether. I'm done.
Whew. Listen, guys, it was a lot of, you know, almost, I'm going to say, controversial topics tonight, where decisions, you know, need to be made. And it's not an easy decision to be made. This Wendy Williams thing, that, you know, something in the water ain't clean. The New Jersey parents in that law, it's a double-edged sword. Because when you call and you try to get help for your kid that is out of control, you can't get no help. And now I've been calling y'all trying to get help, and my kid out there wilding out. You talking about you coming to arrest me? No, I'm going to do a citizen's arrest on you. Let me show you how many times I called to try to get help with my kid. I don't know what the answer is. But locking up the parents, I don't think that's necessarily an answer. Now, it's a different situation if in your house, y'all straight wilding out and y'all got pals not locked up and all kind of craziness going on in the house, then yes, lock the parents up. But just I got a wild child out there and I tried to do the best I could. And if it was simple as that, the parents who lost their son the other day at the playground, they would technically have to be locked up. Because the dad said he fell with the wrong crowd. I would hide. The dad said he hid his sneakers and he would still find a way to get out in the streets. So it's not always because it's a neglectful parent. And then with this elderly driver, probably could have had a medical emergency behind the wheel. But I think I am for, at a certain point, you should have to go back and take the test again to make sure you can see, you can hear, and that all your cognitive, you know, faculties are in place. And I didn't put this on the docket tonight. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow night, because I think rightfully so. Diddy is suing News Nation, Courtney Burgess, and the lawyer, Ariel Mitchell Kidd, for the lies they told on News Nation, saying they got videotapes of Diddy violating minors. And he should win the lawsuit. And let the lawsuit cover every dime he spent on his trial. Because Courtney Burgess, and with a whole lawyer, with a whole lawyer. And the lawyer came out her mouth and said she saw still photos of it. They was telling lies. When I tell you that everybody, there was so many people banking on the fact that the Southern District of New York was going to get away with the biggest lie ever, saying that Diddy was doing RICO and trafficking people. They was banking on that. And they had lawyer after lawyer in their back pocket saying, you gonna rake in with us. And the lawyers was out there acting a whole fool. So now, Ariel Mitchell kid getting sued along with Courtney Burgess in News Nation. Now, when you are a whole mainstream media, it's your due diligence that you got to sit there and vet out your story. You can't just be like no YouTube where some of the people just willy-nilly and they put in 20 on 10. No, you News Nation. Well, now they being sued. We're going to stay connected to that story. But listen, people, I appreciate y'all coming through this late night with me. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo.